Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Boss Babe Blog podcast. And today's episode is called Your Mental Health is First Priority. So the reason why I'm talking about this topic is because I'm going to share with you different areas of my life where I place my mental health first. And why? Because we tend to overexhaust ourselves. And I mean, I'm sure you can tell me, let me know in the comments, have you ever been in a situation where you've overexhausted yourself? You've given so much of yourself that now you're almost tired and you don't even want to do anything for yourself or for the people that you actually enjoy and want to be around. So I had to really take a step into my life and really decide on what I wanted to accept and what I did not want to accept for this year of 2024. And for the rest of my life. I mean, I was already doing some of these things, so some of them are a lot easier said than done. So when you hear them and you hear me talking about that, just know that there's growth and work put in behind it. And it wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, I'm doing it. Some of them, yes, but not all of them. So don't feel bad about your journey on getting there. So the first area of life is going to be family. You know, I was at a place where I really just wasn't feeling frustrated about certain family members, about certain things. And I had to teach myself to listen to my body and my mind when I don't want to do something, when I don't want to go somewhere, when I'm not in the mood, whatever the case may be. Because if I'm working and I'm tired and then I'm already in a funk and then I go to visit somebody that I really didn't want to be there anyways, it's not going to be a positive experience. So what's the purpose of coming with that attitude or energy? I tend to listen to myself better. So that's my behavior for family. I listen to myself better now. If I'm in a great mood, that's when I will attend. If I'm not in a great mood, I will take a step back, because I'm sure everyone has had situations with family where it's like you're stressed out, you're frustrated, you're irritated, you've gone through something with them, whatever it is, but that tension is there. Sometimes the tension is there strictly because of what they've done and how they're continuing to move. But sometimes the tension is there because you keep putting yourself in an environment with them when you're really already tired and depleted. So it's like you're already irritated, and this just adds on to it. Come to the environment to spend time with your family when you are in a good place, because you have more patience, you have more of an ability to communicate calmly and effectively how you're feeling, what you're experiencing with them. It's going to be a lot more proactive. So that is one way that I have made sure to put my mental health first in this new year and just in my life in general. The next one is going to be relationships. So mental health is extremely important in all areas of life, but relationships can be a very tricky thing because every situation is a little bit different, but there are some universal things to think about. So when I'm talking about dating and talking to people, one way that I have prioritized my mental health is not over-explaining for other people and not making excuses for them not showing up. And that's in relationships and in family and friendships. But we're talking specifically about relationships. So taking my time with watching people's actions to decide what part of my life they should be in. A lot of times people will make you feel like you have to rush in relationships. They will make you feel like there's a deadline for when you do what. Oh, you've been talking for this long, you have to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh, you've been seeing this person for that long, y'all have to be married. Oh, you've been living with this person for this long, you have to have kids. You don't have to do anything. You do what makes you happy, but most importantly, you do what is right based off of what is already happening. So if you are not at a place yet where you are ready to be in a relationship, married, with children, whatever the case is, do not allow anyone to rush you or make you feel like you have to be there just because other people are rushing you. Because let me tell you something about those people that are rushing you. Half of those people are not even in a relationship. They're just trying to tell you what to do. The other half of them are in one and they're miserable. It's one of the two. Now, you might find some people in a relationship who genuinely just want to see you doing well, yada, yada. That's great and all. But good friends tend to not focus on what they want for you, and they focus on what you want for you. So if they know that it's important to you to be with someone who is supportive, and you really want to take your time to make sure they're supportive, your good friends are not going to be rushing you into, you got to get married, you got to marry, you got to settle down and have some kids. That's not what good support looks like, great support looks like. They're going to want what's best for you. They're going to want to make sure that you're taken care of at the end of the day. And the only way to do that is to take your time and see how consistent people are at the end of the day at showing up for you, at being there for you, at appreciating you, at how they treat you. So if you don't see that consistency, it's okay to take a step back. It's okay to say, maybe it's not for me. And it's also okay to just take your time and allow people to show you throughout time. But that's one way that I put myself first in relationships. I'm not rushing for anyone. I'm going to get into that relationship with that partner when I feel like it's right. And I think that in this world and day and age, people tend to be pressured. But you shouldn't feel pressured. You should go based off of what is right for you and what makes you happy at the end of the day. Point blank, period. Moving on to business. So I tend to work a lot. But in this year, I focused on having a work-life balance. I no longer discuss business on my personal phones in my personal days. In the past, because I was so excited and passionate, I would be talking about business. I would be working all day. I would be, people asking me, what time do I do this? Or what time do you have that? Or when is this? And where's the link to that? Although I really do love and appreciate the support, work-life balance is extremely important. So if it is 2 a.m. in the morning and you're trying to figure out how to purchase my skincare, you should click on that website and head on over, because I'm going to be asleep. But, in the past, I would be open and available at all times of the day to answer all questions. But I had to come to the acceptance, the realization that I am not a robot and I do need to take a break. The same way I had to take a break with family members, with any situation where I'm not feeling like I'm getting where I need to be or I'm performing in the level that I normally would. I have to step back and I have to take a break. And I have to set up boundaries. You cannot blame people for doing what you allow them to do to you. You can only blame people for doing what you do not allow them to do. So if someone is continuously trying to talk to you about business or business, if somebody's continuously asking you questions about your business, but this is clearly your off day, if you keep answering them, they're not in the wrong here, because you're telling them that it's okay and this doesn't bother you. You're sending the wrong message, and then you're wondering why people are confused when you're saying, I don't want to talk about this, or I don't want to do this. You sent the wrong message. So a habit that I had to get out of was having conversations about business outside of business. If it's not business, I don't do it. I'll send a link to someone and they can go click and sign up. My team, my assistant, or myself can assist when I'm in the business. But I had to do that, because when you go to any store, you go to the customer service line, or you go to the customer service phone call or email or wherever. You don't just go to the CEO at 2 a.m. in the morning, or at 4 a.m. in the morning, or at 7 at night, or at 8 at night to say, hey, I need this, this, and that. You can't do that. And that work-life balance allows the CEO to focus on what they need to focus on when they're in business, and take a break and go home to their family when they're off business. So I was sending the wrong message by continuously trying to do business related stuff when I needed to just be, taking care of myself. So the boundary that I've set for myself now is that I consistently direct people to my website to be assisted, all areas, whether it be in my personal, my personal inbox, my personal phone, anything, direct them to the website to be assisted. Because if someone wants your services, or if they want to support you, they want to shop with you, and they see value in what you're doing, when you tell them where to go, they're going to go there. If they act as if it is so hard to do that, they're not really trying to do too much support, and they're playing with you. And that's not everybody, but it's a lot of people. And some of them might say, well, it's easier to just do it this way. But when you go to a store, you don't get to do that. So you're, in a sense, overextending yourself in ways that is not going to help you in the future, because you're going to be overworked, stressed out, tired, irritated, and wondering how you got here. So in business, that's one way that I did that. So we just talked about 3 different ways, in family, in relationships, and in business. In friendship, let's talk about putting your mental health first, setting boundaries, prioritizing yourself. So in friendship, I've learned to say no faster. A lot of times I would be trying to do things for people, or, attend things and go out and do this, but sometimes I really wasn't feeling it, and I still would try to be there. And the reality is that that's not fair to me. I had situations where I've lost people in my life and still have friends trying to tell me to go out. Don't get me wrong, I do think you should go out, and I think everyone grieves differently. But if I've told you that I'm not feeling too hot and you're still asking me about going out and going places, it's like a part of me is like, oh, well, I don't want to leave. No, I'm staying home. And I think that we have to remember that when we're dealing with people. Say no faster. Don't take too long. Just go ahead and say no faster. I was already saying it, but I need to say it a lot faster so we can get to the next step. Like, after I say no, is that going to determine our friendship, or are you going to accept my boundary and continue to support me and be here for me? But I'm saying no at the end of the day. And another way that I prioritize my mental health first is just continuing to have open conversation and dialogue with people, regardless of, how they may feel about it. Because a lot of times people tend to bite their tongue. I'm not one of them, but some people do. And sometimes it's not even that you bite your tongue. It's just that you don't get around to it. But I intentionally go out of my way to make sure that I express myself in whatever way that I need to when I see something that does not look right or feel right in my friendships. I will express myself. I will tell you how I feel. And I will not be disrespectful, because I don't think anyone should be disrespected, whether they're your friend or not. Just as a person, why would you treat someone? However, a lot of times people tend to hold back because of the fear of not being accepted, or because they don't know how to say those words without things blowing up. So practice expressing yourself on a mature level, taking a deep breath and learning to come back, but addressing things immediately and nipping it in the bud early. So this is not an ongoing issue that you're now looking back and saying, is this person really my friend? Because if you nip it in the bud early, you don't have to ask yourself that question, because they're going to show you after you've told them how you feel about the situation. So those are ways that I have now focused on prioritizing my mental health. And I just want to remind everyone to take care of yourself and know that nobody is going to save you. You have to do it for yourself. That is something that I think a lot of people forget. There's no one waiting to take care of you. You got to take care of yourself, and you got to prioritize yourself, and you have to remind yourself that you're not selfish for doing that. You're doing what you need to do to take care of here and here. And if you haven't been doing that, congratulations. This is your reminder to start. Thank you so much for listening to the Boss Babe Blog podcast. I will be moving on to our next episode, which is holding yourself accountable to your health. I'll see you guys next